China is a lonely state. That's the truth of it. They would fall over themselves having a proper relationship with us. Fall over themselves. When we supply their iron ore, which keeps their really industrial base going, and there's nowhere else but us to get it. You know, we're providing them wheat, we provide them all sorts of things, investment, what have you. They are 12 flying hours from us. We have a continent of our own, a border with no one, no border disputes with them. Perfect. No, we've manufactured a problem. You know, don't let the sleeping dogs lie. You know, we've given the old dog a kicking, you know. And so instead of saying, you see, one of the points I've made here, and what's one of the principal problems of this deal is that defence has overtaken foreign policy. I mean, you don't see Penny Wong out there, you see Miles out there. You know, standing on the submarines is Miles, it's not Penny Wong. So what's happened is that the military have taken over the foreign policy. And as a consequence, we're not using diplomacy. I mean, let me just make this point. Running around the Pacific Islands with a lei around your neck handing out money, which is what Penny does, is not foreign policy. It's a consular task, fundamentally. Foreign policy is what you do with the great powers, what you do with China, what you do with the United States. This government, the Albanese government, does not employ foreign policy, right?
But it has improved the relationship with China since it's come to office?
Look, they've decided not to speak rudely or loudly, but at core you can see what the outcome is. Here's Anthony Albanese signing up with the Americans, the British. I mean, look, let's remember about the British. They pulled their Grand Fleet out of East Asia in 1904. They witnessed the capitulation of Singapore in 1942, right? They then announced their East of Suez policy in 1968. In other words, you're all on your own, you Australians. We're leaving. We'll leave you with Singapore and New Zealand and Malaysia, right, the FPDA, you know. And then in 1973, just to make sure we got the message, they said, well, buggy you, we're going into Europe, so no wheat, no wool, no, you know. And then, of course, after the great problem of Brexit, after that fool Johnson destroyed their place in Europe, 2 world wars. It took 2 world wars to drag Britain to the centre of Europe, to sit beside Germany as the second major power. No. You know, the empirical people, you know, the Tories, that's good enough for us. We're Great Britain. We're the great power. So, OK, they're now out of... So then they're going to put together global Britain. So they're looking around for suckers, you know, global Britain. And they found, ooh, here's a bunch of accommodating people in Australia, you know, an accommodating Prime Minister, you know, a conservative Defence Minister, a risk-averse Foreign Minister. Let's put a proposition to them. So here we are, 230 years after we left Britain, we are returning to the Cornwall, where Morrison did this deal. We're returning to Cornwall, and now Rishi Sunak, for God's sake, for Australia to find our security in Asia. I mean, how deeply pathetic is that?